Hello, this is the video for the fourth guide. This week it's a hallucination rush against Terran, just for scouting, followed by blink stalkers and the response of your choice. Open up with gate expand like normal. Send a probe to scout if you want to play safe, because this build, like most builds, will not work against a proxy barrack strategy. So here you would need to adapt. Nexus 20 as usual, cyber as well, and the next gas before pylon. Chronoboost an adept, start warp gate and get the twilight, and at 100 gas get the sentry. You can chronoboost this one too. The adept can stay home and defend, absolutely. This is a bit risky. It depends on what the probe sees. If the probe sees that the Reaper is at home, then the adept can go scout at this time. And if the Reaper is not at home, then the probe can go in and scout at this time, because the probe will go out around this time, 1:53 or so, and then you can send the probe in again if you want to. I think I played greedy this game. But yeah, so either the probe will scout here or the adept will scout here. Blink cannot quite be started because you lack a bit of gas, but it can be started pretty quickly. Producing probes continuously and using the chronoboost on the blink. And of course send the hallucination as soon as you have 75 energy on the sentry. And this is basically the end of the build. Here you will see things. So you want to control this Phoenix. You don't want to lose it and then not even see what killed it. You want to see all the units and you want to see all the production facilities. So here, for example, I see that the barracks is still at the reactor. I see that these units are at home, I think, yeah. These gases could be scouted, but what's more important is seeing what add-ons are on this buildings, and if there are more barracks or startport and factory units instead. Seeing the mine, seeing the Hellion. This can also stick around, and you can see which units are being produced. So don't just scout once and send it away. It can stay for as long as possible. Yeah, so I assumed that this would be medevacs, which is, yeah. You can't build banshees without the tech lab. So this is gonna depend. I'm not gonna talk too much about this one specifically, but just to show an example of a build that you can do is to as the scouts. I will probably in the notes keep the build order notes because this lined up quite well. The Phoenix will scout here, and if you think it's safe to expand. So for example, against a Widow Mine drop or a single Liberator or a Banshee, it is absolutely fine to expand. It actually makes it even easier because it's fine to lose a couple of probes then if you have a strong economy. And then because it hits not super early, you have time to defend against it with just 2 gateways before expanding. So even this 4-minute expansion is reactive. And use these gateways if you play with a fast third. You could put more pylons around your base. Would have been nice to have a pylon here against the Hellion, for example. Misplaced this pylon, should have been here, so you would see the medevac. Many small adjustments that you can usually make looking at the replay. So because I saw the Hellion, I decided to keep a unit here. I knew it wasn't reactor Hellion with many, but usually this is quite common that Terran hits at 2 places at the same time. Could have put a shield battery here as well, would have made things easier. And only lost 4 workers, killing almost everything. Yes, killing everything. Using blink as well makes it very hard to retreat with medevacs. And from here, you can do whatever you want. I will just end this video talking about the suggested follow-up, which would be double Robo or triple Robo Colossus with plenty of warp prisms. Scouting with the hallucination again. So this one sees there's no Banshee follow-up. So the Robo was quite late. So I don't have to follow up with an observer instantly here. So that's nice information. I also know there's a tank here, so most likely his tank pushing. There's no third command center. All of this information is great. So the idea here is you don't need super fast upgrades because your zealots are going to be too weak to be useful anyway, because you don't have charge and you only have 2 gateways. So we're relying on Colossi to fight, and they're quite strong even without upgrades. I think they are a bit late here. It would have been nice to have them sooner, but you can buy a little bit of time with this army. Waiting for this to arrive. Skipping Colossus range, by the way. I should show the build. Because the Robo Bay and the Robotics facility take the same time to build, you want the second facility and bay at the same time. So you can instantly start double Colossus production. Notice that this is quite important actually. Notice how I've got 3 gases mining. And then I start this spending 100% of my money. Is this going to be enough gas mining to build 2 Colossi when this finish? I think it is. Let's find out. So of course if you warp in sentries here, you're gonna mess with the Colossus timing. So you want to not warping gas units, and we see I'm lacking a bit. I was forced not to mine from this one with the Liberator, but this was slightly insufficient. So maybe you want to go for 4 gases before building this too. But if you don't have the gas, skip the range and get the colossi, because they have 7 range now, and even if they have more range, they're still gonna have less range than the colossus, so you're gonna be forced to run into the opponent's army regardless. And of course here I am very ahead in this game. So I'm not gonna do a super refined follow-up. These 2 prisms is because I felt safe. I just killed an attack, so there's no timing that can come here in the next minute even. So I got the 2 prisms so that I can harass. And I'm also getting prism speed before range for the same reason. So this can go and poke at the Terran army. I'm seeing a very defensive setup with very few units. So I assumed that there was a dropout here. There's no good way to poke tanks. So I went for the main. Noticed that... Alright, I should show the gateway timing as well. I will do that afterwards. So there's nothing here. We can warp in a sentry, force fill the ramp, which we've done several times before. And this army is more than enough to kill anything that comes out of these production facilities. So this is very rough for him to deal with. Additionally, I timed this out with a move out so that if these units go try to retreat here, so if he just panics, pulls everything to the main, then these units are gonna deal lots of damage to the third base instead. And then I could recall this. But I also suspected this attack. Waited with Chrono, I hope. No, I used Chrono on this Nexus, so try to save up Nexus energy if you want to recall. And then I also have lots of gateways to deal with counterattacks. Of course, if you're not ahead in the early game, this is a lot more tricky. This looks very powerful because I was ahead. So I want to emphasize the main idea is not to go for a drop like this and warp in. It's nice to have that option, but it's not something you're necessarily relying on. I was just hoping to poke his army with the Colossi and the Speed Prism to kill some units for free. And as mentioned previously, if you pull these prisms back, build 2 more Colossi, walk across the map, and then use the prisms to fly the Colossi across, then you can hit a pretty hard timing. And you can use them for many other things as well. Right, so finally just want to show the gateway timing as well. After getting the robos up, let's see. No, right. We want to defend this attack first, so top priority is defending this attack, which we scouted with the second hallucination. So then we want to warp from the gateways that we have and get the Colossi as soon as possible. Not adding many gates here. And as soon as this is taken care of, we have the option to, instead of spending money on units, we can spend money on gateways. And yeah, I mean, you can expand also. You can do whatever you want, but if we want to hit the Colossus timing, we need the gateways. Yeah, I think that's it. As usual, I will put the link to the spawning tool complete text guide with much more information in the description. And I hope you enjoy. Have a good week. Until the next build.